lots of people get communication on how to speak, how to formulate things, but very few people get really good teaching on listening. And I would say the most important part of communication is listening. All right, that's what gets us into trouble. And so how can we do that in an effective way? So I'm going to share with you some skills. When you first try these, it's going to be like a new workout. Okay, it's going to feel awkward, it's not going to feel normal. But what happens with the workout is once you get used to it, it actually becomes second nature, and they're not so awkward anymore. So as I share these, know that I'm fully aware that these can appear to be a little awkward. Okay, but what I want you to do is start using them, and then you'll see that they can actually become quite easy and quite a part of the way you listen. All right? So here's the 3 skills we're going to look at. The first one is your attending skills. And your attending skills are basically those things that say I'm paying attention, I am here, I am engaged. Okay? So that can be a lot of things. Practically, it means putting your cell phone away. Turning it off so it's not on vibrate. It's because as soon as it's on vibrate and you hear it, your eye goes to it. So and then right away that says to somebody they're not that important. So if I do have like a meeting or something or I'm waiting for a text and I'm listening to somebody, I'll say, you know what, I'm waiting for a text. I'm sorry, I just have to have this out already. Is that okay? And so I'll just say it right away and just let people know right off the bat if it's that. If not, put your cell phone away, do all that. I actually had it in my office. I didn't do it in this one, because of the way our office is configured, it's kind of hard to do it. But I had the clock lined up, and I used to have it lined up so that it was a natural place for me to be looking, even when somebody was talking. Nice. So that I could gauge the clock and not get stuck and not have to do this.
I have clocks all around my room.
Yeah.
So I can do that, especially because in debriefing you don't want to be at all. So I have them all over the room so I can just glance at them. They don't even see them all over the room.
Yeah.
They're on every wall.
And then sometimes if I'm in a conversation, like a lot of times I like to meet with people down by the dock. But I'll know that I need to be back by 1, so I'll say, you know what, I'm going to just set the alarm here because I have to be back by 1, so I'm just going to set it for 12:55. Are you okay? That way I don't have to look at the time. I can just, so I just let people know that, and I'll set the clock so that I'm not having to be worried about the time. All right? It's okay to have your thing out to every once in a while, just be checking things, but it's much easier to do that. When I'm in the cafeteria, I almost always try to sit so that I'm facing the clock. All right? You'll learn, okay? You're getting all my secrets.
Because people do notice.
Huh?
People do notice when you look at the clock.
Oh, totally.
Just right away.
And nothing says I'm not engaged than that, right?
That's so good because I have to sneak look at my watch. I'll like wait for them to like turn their head and like go.
Yeah, I know. So we all do it. We all kind of have some strategies, right? Whatever works, but whatever is making it non-obvious, all right?
I don't think you would notice if I'm like this, huh?
Yeah. See, I got the clock. I'm the one that's engaged here. Okay, so the other attending skills is things like good eye contact, things that said I'm listening. Your body posture, actually you want a very open body posture, and so that's really helpful. Not quite that open.
A little too open.
Yeah, and I have tested this because I'm such a dork. I test a lot of things when I want to know what's really. So I had somebody at my house one time. They were sitting on my couch, and they're sitting there, and I'm sitting like this. And I literally had everything quite closed. But I'm still asking questions like I normally would, and they're talking, and then I immediately, at one point I turned and I did this, and I just opened up my posture, I opened up everything, I leaned in, and it was amazing. Even their body language completely changed to relaxed and just more open, and it was just really interesting to see the dynamics of how that changed. So even in an office, what you don't want is tables in front of you. You want to keep as much open space as you can. leaning in says I'm listening, anything like that, that lets you know. It's basically saying I'm engaged, all right? You've got my attention, I'm here, all right? So whatever that looks like. So that's your attending skills. Your following skills are those things that help the conversation move from this level to this level, okay? So there's a few things that you can use. The first thing is your nonverbals, okay? So you could use a lot of nonverbals to help people go deeper. So facial expression that corresponds with the emotions that they're sharing. So if they're sharing something that's happy, then smile. If they're sharing something that's sad, then, you know, have your face be sad. I'll throw Mark a little under the bus on this one, because we've had this conversation many times. So Mark, I mean, you all know Mark, and Mark has a face that has absolutely zero expression. Zero. You don't know. Is he happy about this? Is he not happy? And he really tries. But it was really funny because I would tell him this, babe, you got to give me something. Are you there? Do you get it? Just give me something, you know, that lets me know you're getting what I'm saying. And he was like, he thought I was overreacting, or it wasn't as serious. And then we had some students imitate us, you know, at graduation and do all that. And they completely imitated him and his no expression face. And I went, yes, validated. And it was really from there that he's tried, but it's hard. Introverts actually have a harder time with this, all right? Because introverts, they're listening, but their face doesn't really look like they're listening, or they can even look mad, or they can, sometimes even a thinking face can look like, I think you're a moron. Yeah. And so introverts have to work on this. Introverts have to work on some facial expression that corresponds with what people are saying, because that will take them deeper, and that will make it open. They'll be a little bit more open and honest. The other thing you can do is little words like, uh-huh, yeah, I hear you, I get it. Not a lot, but a little bit of those. That helps people go a little bit deeper. Your other following skills are the questions that you ask, okay? Now here's what an extrovert has to learn. Extroverts have to learn to be okay with a pause, all right? Because what happens is an extrovert asks a question, and the introvert starts thinking about it, and then there's a space, and so one of two things can happen to an extrovert. They'll either ask another question, which means the introvert has to process that new question, or they'll answer the question for the person. What they think they might be saying, or they think they might be feeling. So introverts need to learn expression. Extroverts need to be comfortable with pauses and silence, okay? So your following skills are those things that are going to take people deeper. Does that make sense? Okay. The next one is your reflecting skills, and this is to kind of make sure that you got it, okay? So your reflecting skills are those things that are, okay, so here's, if you have something that somebody has said, you can say, okay, so Josh, what I hear you saying is this, and you just reflect back. Don't make it a big deal, it doesn't have to be too long, but just quickly reflecting back what you hear somebody saying. When I'm mediating conflict, I use a reflecting skill called summarizing. So if Anna and Ainsley are having a conflict, I'll say, okay, so Ainsley will share, and then I'll have Anna, okay, Anna, can you summarize what you heard Ainsley say? And then what happens in that moment is, and then I'll say, okay, Ainsley, is that right? Does that capture it? And she can say, well, yeah, except, and then so she can tweak whatever it is she heard. And then you can do the same vice versa, right? So it's that act of summarizing. But in a normal conversation, just that idea of reflecting. Okay, so here's what I hear you saying. Now what's very powerful in listening is when you reflect back not just what people said, but what you think might be the emotion behind it, all right? So if I say, oh, Sarah, that must have been really frustrating for you to have somebody send you all those solutions. So you had somebody sending you a lot of solutions. Wow, that must have been frustrating, especially from that person that you really want to be a good listener for you. All right, so if you repeat back what was actually said as well as the emotion behind it, that's a very powerful thing for people. They feel validated, they feel like you get them, because it's not just the information you heard the emotion behind the information. And they can tweak it. Sarah can say, well, I didn't really feel frustrated, actually I felt really angry. Mm-hmm. So then she can tweak what it was, right? All right, so then we can really truly get what it is. So those reflecting skills are the most awkward feeling, okay? But if you just start to use them, you'll actually find that it becomes quite easy and a part of what you do.